Alright, today we're talking about Collateral. And this movie is badass. Directed by Michael Mann, the king of all Sigma male movies. And Collateral is a pretty cool concept. You take a hitman and a cab driver, have him go around LA all night, and see what kind of madness ensues. And it's starring Tom Cruise, who plays an absolute badass contract killer. I know Tom Cruise in real life is a little bit light in the loafers, but in this movie, he's like the T-1000. He's scary as hell. He's like a horror movie villain. And honestly, nobody plays a sociopathic type A personality better than Mr. Tom Cruise. And at the time of this movie, playing a character like Vincent was very out of the norm for Tom Cruise. He was known for Jerry Maguire, Risky Business. He'd never been a dark gangster type, but he pulled it off great. And you could tell he was a little inspired by Patrick Bateman's character in American Psycho, which is ironic because the character Patrick Bateman is inspired by Tom Cruise. But essentially, this is a movie about two men who are complete opposites, but yet they mirror each other in ways they don't even realize. So you got Tom Cruise as Vincent. He's a contract killer with the gray suit and dead shark eyes. He's a professional nihilist. He parachutes into LA like a ghost, kills 5 people and vanishes. And he justifies it all with philosophy. Millions of galaxies of people and no one notices. He reduces human life to background noise. And that's what makes him terrifying, but also very relatable. He's not a lunatic foaming at the mouth. He's calm, collected, polite, a polite murderer. And then you got Max, the cab driver, played by Jamie Foxx. He's the opposite of Vincent. Cautious, safe, paralyzed by his routines. He's been temporarily driving his cab for 12 years while fantasizing about his limo company that'll never happen as he's trying to get into G.I. Jane's pants, getting her into another entanglement. Max isn't violent, but he's wasting his life in slow motion. He's dreaming away all of his potential. Max is quiet and pathetic, but he's also very endearing. There's a quality to him that's likable and noble. And even Vincent, with all of his flaws, as much as he's a heartless piece of trash, he's honest. He views the world almost like a spectator rather than a participant. He's completely detached from society. But the irony of Collateral is how these two men need each other. Vincent forces Max to wake up, literally, with a gun to his head. He drags him through the city, makes him confront danger, makes him act, and Max forces Vincent to reveal the cracks in his armor. For a guy who claims nothing matters, Vincent sure gets rattled when Max calls him out for being alone, unloved, and doomed to die in the back of a subway unnoticed. Spoiler. And the city itself is a character. Michael Mann shoots it like a digital nightmare. Cold, alien, empty, which is literally the opposite of what LA is. Haven't you seen CB4? But he also did that in Heat. He's really good at shooting the loneliness and depravity that's hiding under the surface of LA. And since it's a Michael Mann movie, you know it's got some badass kill scenes. You got the first kill where the body falls on the cab. The moment Max realizes what kind of night he's in for is one of the coldest introductions to a hitman ever. Vincent goes upstairs, business as usual, and bam! A dead body crashes onto Max's cab. Max panics. "You killed him?" And Vincent, dead calm, delivers one of the most iconic lines in Tom Cruise's career. "No, I shot him. The bullets in the fall killed him." And that line sums up Vincent perfectly. A guy who intellectualizes murder, strips it away, makes it sound like a business transaction rather than a human life. And that's the horror. He doesn't feel anything. He's basically like us, everyone that's watching this video. And then you got the jazz club scene, and this is my favorite scene in the movie. This scene is Vincent at his coldest. Vincent and Max sit down with Daniel, this sweet old jazz man, talking about Miles Davis, and for a moment it feels like humanity creeps into Vincent. He's smiling, talking about Miles Davis with genuine reverence. For a hitman who keeps everything mechanical, this is the closest he gets to human warmth. But what Daniel doesn't know is Vincent's here to kill him. Turns out Daniel was a snitch, and to avoid doing time, he told on some people that want him dead. And Vincent pulls the rug out. He turns the whole meeting into a test. And when Daniel gets a detail wrong about Miles Davis, Vincent executes him right there in front of Max. No hesitation, no warning, just a bullet. It's cruel, but it's also Vincent revealing his worldview. People are disposable. You can laugh, share stories, connect, and then it's over. And it's more than just a murder. It's about Vincent destroying the one human moment he allows himself, just to prove his point that nothing matters. And up until the midpoint, Max is the polar opposite of Vincent. Max is timid, risk-averse, hiding behind his limo company dream. He talks a big game about the future, but does nothing in the present. Vincent, on the other hand, is pure action, pure control. He doesn't talk about the future, he kills people today. But around the midpoint, something happens, their arcs cross. It starts when Vincent forces Max to step into his shoes. The jazz club scene, and especially the Javier Bardem scene, where Max has to pretend to be Vincent. Those are the turning points. Max, the pushover, suddenly has to channel Vincent's confidence and ruthlessness, and now he's bluffing a cartel boss. And it's the first time Max has to embody the darkness that Vincent lives in. And meanwhile, Vincent, the nihilistic assassin, starts getting pulled into Max's world. Max gets under his skin, challenges him in the cab, telling him he's full of shit. He's just some guy who kills people and thinks it means nothing. Max is forcing him to confront the possibility that his whole philosophy might be bullshit. And at the same time, they trade masks. Max borrows Vincent's strength to finally stand up for himself, and Vincent, for the first time, is forced to face his own emptiness. It's brilliant because Michael Mann makes you realize this is a duel of philosophies. Vincent is the extreme of nihilism, and Max is the extreme of passivity. And at the midpoint, they start bleeding into each other. And that's what makes the climax so good, because Max becomes decisive, violent even, and Vincent becomes vulnerable. The cab driver turns into a man of action, and the hitman becomes a lost soul staring at his own mortality. And it's very similar to the face-off in Heat when they're sitting at the coffee shop. You have two men on the opposite sides of the spectrum, but they find out how similar they really are once they confront each other. So you have the cab crash. Max finally takes control of the wheel, literally and metaphorically. He slams the cab, flips it, and wrecks Vincent's whole plan. And this is the second time in a movie someone tried killing Tom Cruise by a car crash. Remember Vanilla Sky? But this is the first time the whole movie Vincent's the one not in control. Now he's a victim. Max seizes the story away from him. The crash is Max saying, "I'm done being passive, and if I have to destroy everything to stop you, I will." And in the wreckage, Max stumbles across Vincent's computer and sees Annie's name on it. And Annie's the girl from before, Jada Pinkett Smith, the chick he was trying to mac on earlier. And that was the only bright spot he's had in years of going nowhere, the woman he connected with, who actually saw him as more than just a cab driver. And suddenly everything clicks. This isn't just some random job anymore. And it isn't about just surviving until the morning. Vincent's about to kill the person who gave Max a sense of possibility. And that discovery is where Max's entire character pivots. Seeing Annie's name on the screen forces him to act. It's the moment where his cowardice turns off, and he realizes if he doesn't step up now, he'll never step up for anything. And this is why the last act feels so tense and personal. Vincent's trying to finish up a contract, but Max is trying to save the only thing that mattered to him. And Annie being on Vincent's hit list becomes a test for Max to finally break free from being a spectator in his own life. So Max drags himself out of the wreckage and sprints into Annie's office building. And this is where Michael Mann shifts this movie into horror territory. Vincent becomes the stalker, calm and relentless, moving floor by floor like Michael Myers with a pistol. Annie's hiding, Max is scrambling. It's two ordinary people running from a monster. But the difference is, Max isn't just running, he's trying to protect someone, and that new purpose gives him the edge. Max and Annie make it to the subway, but Vincent corners them, and this is the final duel, stripped bare of all the earlier games, no jazz clubs, no cartel meetings, just two men on a train, guns out, nothing left to hide behind. Vincent is still cold, efficient, looking like the T-1000, but Max finally acts. He fires blind through the glass, and Vincent goes down. The hitman who ruled the night gets taken out by the guy he dismissed. And ironically, Vincent dies on the subway, the same place he told that story earlier about the dead man no one noticed. Vincent becomes his own story, a body riding through LA, and his last words were, "Do you think anybody would notice?" Everything in this movie culminates into Max finally standing up, Vincent finally losing control, and Annie's name on the laptop wasn't just a twist, it was destiny locking Max and Vincent into a final confrontation. But I love this movie. Collateral's one of those movies that manages to be both a thriller and a psychological gut punch. On the surface, it's a story about a hitman forcing a cabbie to chauffeur him around LA, but underneath it's about nihilism versus purpose. It's what happens when two men who couldn't be more different get locked in a car together and realize they're staring into their own reflection. Vincent kills because life is meaningless. He sees the world as a blur of nobodies who live, die, and vanish without consequence. Max is the opposite, passive, afraid, hiding in daydreams of a life he'll never live. One man acts without meaning, the other dreams without action. Both are equally empty, but by the end they meet in the middle. Vince is brought down to Max's level, and Max rises to Vince's level. And for one night they become equals, but only one walks away. And that's what makes this movie great. It's about how meaning can be found in the most unlikely place, even in a cab ride with a contract killer. And facing the abyss can either swallow you whole or force you to finally step into yourself. Vincent dies proving his own philosophy right, just another body on a subway, nobody noticing. Max survives proving the opposite, that saving one life does matter. And essentially purpose isn't something you wait for, it's something you take, if you grow a pair. So tell me some of your favorite scenes, your favorite quotes. One of my favorite quotes is when he shoots those two guys. Yo homie, is that my briefcase? And then he pulls out his gun and kills them both. After Vincent kills Daniel, he says, 6 billion people on the planet and you're getting bent out of shape because of this one fat guy? And also one of the little throwaway lines is when Vincent says, I've been in the private sector for 6 years now, because it implies a whole hidden backstory that the movie never spells out. Does that suggest he wasn't always freelance? Maybe he worked for the government, the CIA, a hitman with a badge? Maybe he assassinated people overseas? Black ops? Who knows? But yeah, if you haven't seen this movie, definitely check it out. It's chilling as hell. And it does have a bit of a happy ending, I guess, at the end, the good guy wins, but you still leave feeling empty as hell. And honestly, we watch these movies because we're trying to get that same dopamine or emotional feeling we've gotten from the past movies, like Heat. The way you felt at the end of Heat, you were looking for that kind of ending again in a movie. And Collateral is definitely Michael Mann's second best movie. And by saying second best, that is no knock on it by any means. It just happens that Michael Mann's best movie happens to be one of the best movies in the history of movies, Heat. So if you dig that movie, you will love Collateral. And what's kind of crazy is, after this movie, Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx became really good friends for years. But after Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes got divorced, Jamie Foxx immediately swooped in and started dating Katie Holmes, which is a little crazy. He broke the bro code. I'm not much into celebrity gossip or anything like that, but I do find it a little bit strange that two men that are rumored of being in the closet, like Jamie Foxx and Tom Cruise, happen to be such great friends, and they dated the same chick. Conspiracy, maybe? But I digress. But to the rest of you, I hope you have a good night. Be safe. Don't break the bro code. And God bless.